to Bourbon and a Baby. My name is Jay. Max will not be joining us today because Max is a baby and babies can't pick their whiskey of the year. All right, today is semi-final number 2 in my flight club for whiskey of the year. So what I've done is picked my top 8 bourbons that I've personally reviewed on the channel this year into 2 blind flights of 4. So you can watch my video for the first flight here. And in that flight, the winner of that flight will go on to face off the winner of this flight in the final, and the one that I pick out of those 2 will be my whiskey of the year for 2019. So very exciting stuff. The top 8 goes as Uncle Nearest 1856, Angel's Envy, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Henry McKenna 10-year bottled in bond, Weller Antique 107, New Riff bottled in bond, Middle West Spirit Straight Wheated Bourbon Whiskey, and Metallica's Blackened Whiskey. So that's the top 8. These are all poured blind. My wife was kind enough to pour these blind for me, so I have no idea which of these are in this class until the end. So let's go ahead and get right to it. Starting here with A, let's get to the nose. This smells like what you expect a bourbon to smell like. When I kind of explain to people what I like about bourbon, this is kind of what I'm shooting for. You get a lot of the really sweeter notes that tend to come from bourbon, which are the notes that I tend to like the most. So I'm getting caramel, I'm getting vanilla, I'm getting a little bit of barrel influence here, so I'm getting that kind of that charred oak. I'm getting like deep fried sugar. So think of like carnival food, an elephant ear or something like that. I know I've said that before on this channel, like cinnamon and sugar on top of something that's been deep fried. I get that. And just a hint of some of those darker notes too, like that brown sugar, a little bit of rye spice in there, but just a hint. Very, very sweet on the nose, but a little bit of those darker notes as well. I can't wait to dig into this. Let's give this a taste. Cheers. This was actually my first drink of the day. I didn't have anything before this, so I kind of shocked my taste buds a little bit there. So before I start diving in, I'm going to take another sip here. Now, how I said that those darker notes were faint on the nose, a lot more prevalent on the palate. I get hit with that rye. I get hit with kind of that brown sugar cinnamon. But then as it mellows out, as it kind of goes down, that's where that spiciness up front fades into kind of that caramel, and with a hint of vanilla, but more so the caramel I'm getting. So yeah, real heavy brown sugar, rye, cinnamon up front that fades, then mellows down into straight caramel. What this reminds me of, I might be completely wrong because I made a terrible, completely wrong guess in the semifinal number 1, but this is very much reminding me of Wild Turkey. So are you Wild Turkey Rare Breed? You just might be. All right, let's go to B. Let's check the nose on this. This is more of a fruity note, like pear. I'm getting straight pear. Even a hint of banana. There's no Brown-Forman products in this, so that that eliminates that. That's usually where that banana note comes in strongest. But I think it's mostly pear I'm getting, and like powdered sugar on this one. Very, very, very fruity on the nose. Yeah, let's go ahead and see if that translates to the palate. Cheers. Very, very easy to drink. It's either under 100 proof, or it's just like right at 100 proof, but super, super, super easy to drink. It goes down nice and smooth. Gives you a little bit of warmth, but you know, it's not overpowering. It's very, very nice, very easy to drink. Yeah, let's go ahead and get a second sip here. I get a lot of the barrel influence on this one. Kind of stands out at first. So I'm getting that charred oak, just a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of brown sugar, and some rye spice, and then just kind of like a mellow, lingering hint of vanilla. Like, you have a vanilla scented candle lit in the other room, so you're not in the same room. It's not like that's all you can smell, but just that little bit is trickling over into the next room, and that's kind of accompanying all that. Really, really tasty, fun, easy to drink. This one isn't like hitting me like pow, 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 pow with different flavors, but like I said, this is something that you could just sit back on and drink all afternoon. Supposed that you were able to sit back on it. So this is like something I would see sitting on like a front porch swing, or like a rocker on your porch, and just having an easy day and drinking this. So that's it like brings that feeling when I drink this. So really enjoyable. And just as I was talking, some of the finish kind of came through, and I did also get on the finish some caramel that I didn't get on the initial palate. So that's really nice. I like that as well, because that's my favorite note when it comes to bourbon. If you know me personally, I'll pretty much have anything with caramel in it. So it's one of my favorite flavors. So that's what I really, really love about a lot of bourbon is those caramel notes. So just having that little bit of faint caramel note on the finish is a nice, kind of a nice little pat on the back there. I like that. All right, let's check out C. This is like, speaking of caramel, this is like hitting me in the face with it. It's like a Werther's original. Like I've got a handful of them, and I just took a big whiff of it, like all unwrapped. On top of that caramel, I get some brown sugar. And I don't get, I'm not getting a lot of barrel influence. I'm not getting like a lot of ethanol. In fact, any of these so far today haven't come across as being super overpowering alcohol-wise. Okay, I'm also getting a bit of like a caramel apple, so like a little bit of an apple flavor here. So yeah, let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. Whoa. So very, very spicy up front. By spicy, I mean black pepper, I mean rye, I mean brown sugar, even like a little bit of clove. But then again, kind of like with as it kind of goes down, it mellows out, gets a little softer, and turns kind of into more of a vanilla. Got a very long finish. It's still kind of going. Gives you a nice warm feel. Gives you that Kentucky hug if this is a Kentucky bourbon. Yeah, definitely can taste the barrel influence. This might be kind of an older, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old or so. So I'm tasting that oak a lot more. So yeah, let's get a second taste here. Got a lot of the oak that time. Yeah, a lot of oak, a lot of barrel char, brown sugar and rye spice and clove. Not like heavy on the clove, just like a real light hint of clove. And then even like maybe just a touch of black cherry. Like a black cherry cola type of a flavor. And like a real nice kind of thick mouthfeel. Really kind of coats your mouth really well. And again, the finish just kind of keeps going and going to where you can pick more and more stuff out. Even a little bit of vanilla coming up now. So yeah, this is a very complete, complex bourbon here. All right, and let's check out Bourbon D. Getting more ethanol on this one. Getting kind of like, I wonder if, I was just gonna say, I'm getting kind of a wine feel from this, so I wonder if this might be the Angel's Envy. And I wasn't thinking that until I thought wine, and I'm probably wrong, but yeah, I get kind of it almost reminds me more of smelling a wine than it does of smelling a bourbon. It's a little fruity, like dried fruit. Like an apple chip. Like you ever get like a dehydrated apple chip type of thing. Yeah, now it's like stuck in my head, which is probably bad. Like I said, I'm probably wrong, but I'm really thinking this might be the Angel's Envy. But let's go ahead and give this a taste. Cheers. I got right up front, right kind of at the middle of my tongue, I got hit with some rye, but that wasn't predominant. It was just like right, at first. But that's not like the heaviest note. I do get some like fruity, a little bit of a fruity note, and it does come across as a little bit dry, which makes me think again that this is the Angel's Envy. But it's relatively easy to drink. I don't get hit with like a high proof on this. I can taste some of the oak coming through, but I can also taste some of the, it's like apple cider aged in a bourbon barrel. So like I'm getting both, kind of both flavors there, or like it is like on the drier side. I'm not getting a lot of those sweeter notes that, you know, I said earlier that I really look for in bourbon. I'm getting more of a little bit of the darker notes, like your rice spice, your oak, your charred oak. But I'm also getting kind of your lighter, fruitier notes. But I'm not getting those kind of sweeter notes. So okay, all right, good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go back and forth through these, go through these one more time, maybe put them up against each other, and kind of, you know, give them another shot to pick out which one I think is my favorite. I'll rate them in order of 1 through 4, and then we'll find out what they are. So stay tuned. All right, and I'm back. This one, kind of similar to the first flight. I had a really tough choice picking between first and second place here. All of these were really good. Again, these were all part of my top 8 favorite whiskeys of the year so far. So not one of these are bad, even if it comes in 4th place, doesn't mean I don't like it. But up against some of these other ones, you know, things just tend to stand out. So I'll start first with what I put into 4th place. In 4th place, I put D. This was the one that I guess might be Angel's Envy. It had kind of like, it kind of came across as really dry. Got kind of some of those more wine notes. So yeah, let's see ultimately what it was. And you can tell that I suck at this because this was not Angel's Envy at all. This was Wild Turkey Rare Breed. And I honestly didn't think the proof seemed like it was that high. 116.8. I didn't get much of a kick. I got a real dry finish that didn't seem to last very long. It didn't have that traditional kind of turkey profile. Now, like I said, I still really like this a lot. But if you watch my Turkey Day edition of Flight Club, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, I think came in 3rd in that one. So crazy, because I really do enjoy it. But yeah, very surprising. All right. So in 3rd place, I picked B, and the top 3 were actually all really close. B, I really enjoyed. It was super easy to drink, but I did get a lot more fruit notes. And if you know me personally, I'm not a big fan of fruit, even though I don't mind, you know, some of those flavors coming up in my bourbon. Didn't have a super long finish, but this was the one that I was like, you could sit on your front porch and drink this all day, sitting in your rocking chair or whatever. So almost sad to put this in 3rd place because I feel like it deserves better. But so let's find out what it was. This was the Angel's Envy. So I guess that makes sense why I was getting that really heavy fruity notes, being that it is finished in port wine casks. So that does make sense. It didn't come across as dry, and I think that was the main reason why I thought that D was the Angel's Envy, was because it was really dry. So yeah. All right. Let's find out then what my winner was. Like I said, between A and C, these were super close. I went back and forth. Ultimately, what made me choose A as my first place was that right off the bat initially, just from that first smell, it's exactly what I picture or imagine or have a sensory feel of what bourbon should be. So that's what made me gravitate towards this. Had a lot of those sweeter notes that I look for, the caramel, the vanilla, but then so did so did C. So these really went back and forth. I just got a little bit more of those notes that I prefer in A than I did in C. C had a little bit more oak and that char, which I still really like a lot. These were neck and neck. On any given day, I could have picked either one over the other, but I had to make a choice, so I chose A. So let's find out what my winner is, and moving on to the final for my Whiskey of the Year 2019. Uncle Nearest 1856. If you watched my semifinal number 1, I mentioned that I thought Uncle Nearest might be in the final. I really enjoyed. This is probably has been my biggest surprise of the year, pleasant surprise of the year. I've really enjoyed it, and I feel pretty happy and vindicated because I've been telling everybody, I've been singing the praises of this whiskey ever since I first tried it. I've reviewed it on the channel and really enjoyed it, and I've suggested it to people, and honestly, everybody that I've suggested it to that has tried it, not a person has told me that they didn't like it. So they've all been, again, pleasantly surprised. So Uncle Nearest 1856 moves on to the final. So let's find out then what C was. C was, again, my second place, very close. On any given day, could have been the winner. And that's the Henry McKenna 10-year. And again, that makes perfect sense. It was Whiskey of the Year, Best in Show for a reason. Last year at the San Francisco Spirits Competition, it saw a price increase. It's now a lot harder to find on the shelves because of that. But you know, it deserves it. It's really good. It's a really good bourbon. So makes sense being that this was a 10-year. That, you know, I did taste some of that, some more of those barrel and that barrel char a little bit more in this. But yeah, so stay tuned. Coming soon to the channel will be my final for Whiskey of the Year 2019. So it's going to be Uncle Nearest 1856 up against Weller Antique 107. Which will I choose? Stay tuned. Thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button if you like this video. Give me a thumbs down if you hated it. Leave me a comment below. What do you think? Which would be your Whiskey of the Year 2019? What's your personal Whiskey of the Year for 2019? Of these 8 that I've been going back and forth over, which one do you think you would pick of those? What would be your final? Would you have the same final as me, or would you have 2 different ones going head to head? Let me know. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Last but not least, you can buy Bourbon and a Baby merchandise on our shop on Spreadshirt. I'll provide the link in the description below.
Bourbon.